now, incidents of bullying and violence in schools continue to be an area of concern, not only for parents, but teachers as well. Communities are often being called on to join the fight in a country that is already battling with high crime levels. So how do we ensure that there's seamless collaboration between parents, teachers, school governing bodies, police, among other stakeholders? Safer South Africa Foundation CEO Riah Phiyega joins us live now. Thank you so much for your time, Ms. Phiyega. I mean, this issue is one that needs urgent attention. We've watched it here on the show. I mean, even learning recently of a learner who shot a principal inside a school. So what needs to be done in order to ensure that schools are safer?
Thank you very much, Bongiwe, for the invitation, and greetings to all your viewers. I think what we are facing as a nation is very, very serious. Remember that schools are a microcosm of society. So the crime that we're talking about in communities are equally affecting learners in schools. My response to your question would be no single intervention would be able to solve the school. We require a blended multiplicity of interventions. We know quite well that the Department of Basic Education are doing as much as they can to try very hard to beef up the security, to offer some programs in schools. They have, for instance, a partnership with the police, with the adopted cop program, where each school has to be linked to a police station, and that there are cops who are linked with that school. There are other efforts that are coming from civil society like ourselves, Safer South Africa Foundation, working with the entire security cluster. We don't work alone, we work with all of them to try and reach out. So what am I actually saying? I am saying all hands should be on deck. And the parents, the community, and everybody.
Pardon me for even digressing a little bit, because you talk about a very important issue of, ensuring that there's safety all round. Tonight, I'm sure you've seen, we're carrying visuals of violence breaking out in the city of Ekurhuleni. That also forms part of, the areas of concern. And I wonder, how are you reacting as you're watching these visuals?
I'm a very concerned citizen, because this is in full view of everybody. And this is what we are teaching, to say, as adults, as human beings, the solution to discords is fighting, is mayhem. This is not good for what we are trying to all do to achieve peace, to achieve mature negotiations and engagements. These are some of the things that are contributing towards what I said to you earlier on, to say the school cannot evade this type of behavior. It is totally unbecoming, and it is very sad that it is us adults teaching all these young people to say, when they get to school and there's bullying and there's fighting, this is the manner in which we resolve problems.
And especially because, you think about how critical conflict resolution is, and not only in schools, but clearly even right now for adults as we are watching.
That is so sad, because indeed part of what we're teaching is to say discord and disagreements will always be there. A power-anchored approach such as this one, and just a gung-ho approach of saying we can beat each other, throw things around, turn tables around, that's not how we teach our young. They always say teach them young so that when they are old, they do not forget the rules of how to do things. It is, what the scenes that we're seeing are really some of the scenes that one wishes we should not be seeing.
And one then asks the question, pardon me, because when we see that a learner has entered a school with a gun, there's always this concern that, is it because the school security is lacking, or is it something that we are not seeing?
I think it's a systemic thing. First and foremost, where does the child get the gun? Does it mean at home there are guns? They are not stored in the manner in which the licensing requires them to be stored, because that's a very serious concern. we would start there to start saying, Dad, Mom, where is your gun? Do you keep it according to the rules of the license and all that? That's number one. Number two, we start saying, when children come to school, is there a discipline and a protocol in that school where learners are actually searched and where the discipline is very clear that that can't happen? You know, there are some of the schools where they even give you notice to say, alcohol is not allowed here, and children are searched. And it doesn't have to be, you know, some of the schools that are well endowed. It also talks to the discipline in the school. So I think it's a whole systemic approach that we need to talk about.
Yeah.
And if such incidences are happening in that school, when we are at parents' meetings, what are we doing as SGPs, as parents, as CPFs, as NGOs that are assisting in those schools? What are we doing to teach differently?
And especially if we continue to, you know, see some of these violent scenes that are unfolding before our eyes. But let me thank you so much for your time. And certainly this is a conversation we will circle back to. It's quite an important one, looking at what is unfolding in terms of violence, not only in our schools, but really just all around us. That is Safer South Africa Foundation CEO Riah Phiyega.